743 QFM 96. As we said earlier, our hearts go out to all of the Boston fans. Losing Brad Delp, I think it was early or late last week.
I found him on Friday, right?
Yeah,
Friday night.
But as you mentioned, Dan, probably one of the most heard voices on this radio station over the years, singing Boston songs. But we only had one chance to really sit and chat with the guy for a while on, like I said, it was shortly before they embarked on the 2003 tour. Here's Brad Delp with us on QFM 96. This man truly is the guy with the golden voice. All the vocals, lead and backup on the first three Boston albums, and the band is back touring, and we're going to talk about that. But it's a pleasure to welcome to QFM 96.
No kidding.
Brad Delp from Boston.
Good morning,
Hi, Brad.
Good morning, guys.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
You look in this picture I'm holding here from your website. You look like you're in good spirits.
Well, I don't know. I got to go to the website. I don't know which picture you're
it's one at. You got the Beatles shirt on and you're holding up an apple.
Oh, yeah. Well, then I'm a happy guy then.
Yeah.
That was a good day.
So, we were talking about this morning. I was in college when the debut album hit.
Yep.
Exploded. I mean, just rocked.
Particularly in the Midwest. It really took off. That was the first place we played was actually Columbus, Cleveland, the Agora clubs there.
Sure.
That's some of the first gigs that we did.
That's what I was talking about.
That's really where the record took off.
I was at Ohio State, and honest to God, like I said, one of my wife's roommates had a birthday, and we had a party, and she got 2 copies of that album. Well, you can always take one back, take it and exchange it. She said, no, I'm keeping them both.
Awesome.
I mean, what was life? Here you are in bar bands around Boston, grew up playing club dates and stuff with friends and all that. Now this thing just explodes. What was life like then? I mean, that had to have been just
well, like I say, that first tour started, I think, about 2 weeks after the record came out. And it was supposed to be 6 weeks long. And it wound up being about 10 months long. They just kept adding shows, and the shows kept getting bigger. We actually headlined Madison Square Garden at the end of that tour, which, blew all of us away. None of us would have predicted anything like that.
Wow, talking with Brad Delp
of
Boston. Did the record company have an inkling before the record was released that More Than a Feeling was going to do what it did? Was there a buzz prior to, or did it take everybody by surprise?
Well, I don't think the record company really knew either. I read a statement by the head of the record company at the time who said he didn't know who we were until we had sold like 1 million copies. So at least I appreciate his honesty.
Yeah, and then of course legendary in the time it took to go from 1 to 2 and then 2 to 3.
Yes, we do take our time. I always tell people that the entire Beatles' career was between Don't Look Back and the Third Stage album.
That's true.
What were you doing all that time? I mean, I got to imagine that financially it was rewarding for you. So, I mean, luckily you didn't have to bag groceries at the IGA or anything.
No, we did okay. But, of course, the reason there was so long between the second and third album in great deal had to do with this big, now legendary lawsuit that went on with the record label, which went on for 6 years, and then eventually was decided in Tom's favor,
right?
Fortunately, but so I took advantage of the time to watch my kids grow up, because my daughter was born in 1980, and my son came 4 years later than that. So I got to spend a little time with them, kind of make the best of a bad situation.
Sure. And
so I didn't mind that at all.
And you've always kept busy singing. I know you helped out Barry Goudreau on Orion the Hunter.
Yeah, Barry did a solo album in 1980, which curiously myself and Fran Cosmo, who's been on the last couple Boston tours and certainly on this new album and tour, we were the 2 singers on Barry's solo album.
Yeah.
Coincidentally.
And then
we did RTZ in, I think that was 92 or 93.
I've always wondered, there's certain singers who can probably do what they're doing forever. Like Tom Petty, I would think, doesn't have to worry too much about his voice as he gets older, because it'll kind of add to what he sounds like.
Sure.
Guys like you, Brad, who hit these amazing notes, 20, 25 years ago.
I just made it really tough on myself.
No kidding. I mean, is it like an athlete? Do you have to try that much harder as you get older to take care of yourself? or does it still come naturally to you?
Yeah, well, we were talking about this Beatle band of mine, and I think the playing out every week for me, because, as you say, Boston tours rather sporadically. Last time we went out was in '97. So for the last 10 years, I've been doing this Beatle band, really just for fun, but playing out every weekend, if not Friday and Saturday, at least one of the 2 days. And I think that's really helped keep my voice in shape.
That's so cool.
That's that use it or lose it thing that we assign to several other.
It's a lot of fun. Not to dwell too much on that, but we do about 3 hours. Like the first set is an hour and a half and has about 30 songs on it, because those early songs are a couple minutes long and they just fly by. But
that's so neat.
So
I'd like to hear that sometime.
Yeah,
man.
I've always been a Boston fan, always been a Beatles fan. Didn't know that you were such a fan. And is there a recorded documentary of this so we can hear you doing some of that?
Well, that was the one thing, being a hobby. One thing we when we started it, we weren't going to try and look like them or dress up and do that kind of thing, but we really wanted to get the music as close as we could. But we don't sell anything. We don't have like T-shirts, and obviously we don't do tapes and things.
It's a labor of love.
Michael Jackson, I guess we did. So
it's nothing but a labor of love.
Yeah,
and you got to admire that.
And you can find us at clubs in and around Boston anytime there's not a Boston tour.
Well, now
so you're welcome to come on out
and see Beetlejuice.
Or maybe we'll have to think about traveling out of state.
Any musical talent rearing its ugly head in your family? You mentioned your son and daughter.
My son started playing bass a number of years ago, and he lives out in California, as does my daughter. My daughter's going to film school out there. My son is working in a recording studio for next to nothing, but it's good experience for him, and very much interested in playing bass. And is playing in a band out there. They just played the Whiskey out in Hollywood a couple weeks ago.
What kind of advice do you?
Okay.
What kind of advice do you give your kid when he gets into rock and roll like that? Watch the money.
It's too late now. He's in the music business. I've failed.
You've already lost him to Satan now, so there's no sense in trying to save him.
I just wish him, as much luck as I had.
When you think back to some of the stadium shows, is there one story in particular that stands out in your mind, working with a lot of the other bands and a lot of the festivals and the stuff in the late 70s, early 80s?
Boy, we played with, obviously, there were a lot of bands around 78 when Don't Look Back came out. I think Cheap Trick was just coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And, me being a Beatle fan, and they obviously had that influence, so we got along great. To me, the whole thing about going out, because prior to the Boston record, like I say, I just played locally, so the whole touring thing was new to me, and the whole camaraderie about meeting people on the road. And I was just thinking how we used to people would be out on tour, and you would kind of meet people in the airport, going from gig to gig. That's it.
Just passing in the airport.
Yeah, we were out actually touring with Bob Seger, and the guys from Kiss had just gotten off the plane. I think it was somewhere up in Syracuse, New York, and I didn't know who they were. They didn't have any makeup on. But Bob had toured with them, so he introduced us, and it's kind of cool running into people like that. We toured with Heart because we were out about the same time, and the first actual stadium show we did after doing these clubs, and as I say, they got bigger and bigger. I remember the first kind of 10,000 seater we did was opening for Black Sabbath, and I didn't know what to expect with that, or how the crowd certainly was going to take to us.
Yeah,
but it was great. One thing at the time, they didn't do sound checks, or at least maybe they did when they started the tour. But when we joined them, they didn't bother, so we had the stage to ourselves, set up, which is a luxury for an opening act.
Right.
But they were great guys actually too, and the crowd was into it mainly because the record was just getting airplay. They were playing almost every cut, which was just unheard of.
Yeah, that sounds like the setup to one of your a bad joke. Boston, the guys from Kiss and Bob Seger in the Ambassador Lounge, and
yeah,
And
if someone would have told me that someday I'd be talking to Brad Delp when I was skipping class in my junior year of high school.
Wow.
Yeah, this has been a thrill.
Brad, thanks for being our guest, okay?
Hey, thank you so much, guys.